Thank you for joining us here on Doctor's Nutrition. I'm Dr. Jim.
And I'm Dr. Janine.
We're going to be talking about something today. It's a question that we get asked, probably every day. And it's, what's the difference between a hemoglobin A1C and my fasting glucose?
Yeah, we have a lot of people, and we go over lab work all day long, that their fasting glucose may be normal and their A1C is beginning to elevate. And a lot of times they have not known that their A1C was getting high and that they were pre-diabetic because their doctor had only done a fasting glucose. Now that fasting glucose is that 1 minute of that one day. So think if you just pricked your finger, checked your sugar, that's a fasting glucose. It is that 1 minute of that one day.
Now, a hemoglobin A1C, that's a little bit different. And I think in some other videos we've talked about this, but I'll kind of go back through it because I think you really need to know this. When we look at a hemoglobin A1C, what we're looking at is, well, you know what your hemoglobin is, part of your red blood cell stuff, right? Okay, so we got that. We've got this hemoglobin on our red blood cells. It carries oxygen, and there's got two proteins on it. There's an A1 protein, and an A2. So we got two proteins there. Most of the protein is the A1, about 90-something% supposedly. Now, when we look at this hemoglobin A1C test, what we're doing is we're looking at the average blood glucose over a 90-day period. And the reason we're doing that is because a red blood cell lives about 110 to 120 days in most people. So we get a good average if there's damage to that red blood cell or hemoglobin on that red blood cell due to exposure to sugar. It's called glycation. The more glycation we have, the more problems we have damage to that red blood cell or that hemoglobin. That's your hemoglobin A1C. And if it's damaging the hemoglobin A1C protein, well, it's damaging a lot of other things too.
And like I said, the glucose, fasting glucose is that 1 minute of that one day. Hemoglobin A1C is actually looking at what percentage of cells are damaged. So when you have so much damage, they have research to show that if it's got this much damage, then your sugar had to have been an average of this over the last 90 days. And like I said before, we have seen many times where the fasting glucose is normal, but the A1C is elevated. So just because your glucose is normal, if you have not had an A1C, might be a test that you want to have done.
I definitely think it's a test you want to have done. When you look at that A1C, it gives you a lot more information. You get to see if you've had spikes, because obviously if the A1C is high and your fasting glucose is normal, then it has to spike when you're not watching it, right? Because if you're, like she said, if you see that fasting glucose is just simply that moment in time during that day when you checked it, when you prick your finger or however you do it. Now, one thing that we actually recommend a lot is the continuous glucose monitors.
They're continuous to where they can show you what your sugar is all the time and how it rises and falls. And that is a really good piece of information to have because you can figure out which foods are doing it. And if you eat a food and your sugar spikes, you know that's probably not a food that you should be eating. Another question we get constantly is, what should your sugar run? We get that one every day too. Fasting sugar should be between 70 and 95, and your sugar should not go over 140 after eating. And so if you get a monitor, you will know if that sugar is dropping or rising. And then you can adjust your diet accordingly because there is no doubt what you eat plays a huge role in controlling that blood sugar.
One of my favorite snacks has always been banana and peanut butter. Got a continuous glucose monitor, put that bad boy on. I said, well, I'm gonna try it, right? Oh, Jesus. I haven't had a banana period since then because
Bananas
it really
are very
it.
commonly a food that people tell me spike their sugar when they wear a monitor.
Right.
And there are, people say, okay, where do you get glucose monitors? There are over-the-counter glucose monitors nowadays. They do not let you set alarms, but you can look and see what your sugar is doing.
Right.
And then you can get your doctor to prescribe it, or there's some places online that you can get prescriptions for the continual glucose monitor, which we have liked. The Freestyle Libre 3 was the one that we have used in the past.
And it seems to work the best. If you need that information as to where to go to get that, we can help you with that. That's not a problem. Just simply give us a call. We'll hook you up. Get you going on that. So I think this is a lot of good information that you need to know, because perhaps they're only testing your fasting glucose. You really need to see what that A1C is.
Nowadays, right? You do want an A1C, and you just want to monitor your own health so you can take care of yourself.
Yeah, let's talk about individualized health care. Okay, you got to take individualized care of you. That's what it boils down to. By the way, if you need further help or information, guidance, give us a call. And believe it or not, we'll actually answer the phone, and or if we're busy, we'll call you back. We find a lot of people surprised with that, but no, we really will. We'll call you back. We really care about your health that much. So thank you for joining us here on Doctor's Nutrition today. I think we've enjoyed giving this little video, and I think that you'll get something good out of it. In the meantime, be sure and subscribe. Hit that like button. It always helps us. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video.